Let's take some time and talk about the difference between tax preparation and tax planning. Taxes have become the most important and talked about conversation that I have with my clients. It's aligning us as the financial advisor with their CPA, whether they use our in-house CPA and tax team or not. It's my job to communicate with them and make sure that we are aligned for the betterment of that client. So I want to talk through a couple of opportunities that we help clients with from a tax planning standpoint. And some of it will intertwine with Roth conversions, but primarily we're going to talk about Roth conversions in another video. So if you haven't seen that one yet, go check it out. The first one I want to talk about, it's really beneficial for self-employed individuals, my business owners out there. It's a solo 401k. And so I'll talk about it a little bit here, but then I'll also share an example of how I leveraged a solo 401k for one of my clients. Of course, I won't share any specifics, but very generally speaking, if you or your spouse are self-employed, I'll talk about how you can leverage a solo 401k for your financial leverage. First things first, a solo 401k is something that you can set up if you or your spouse are a small business owner, as long as you don't have any W-2 employees, okay? That's important. There's so many benefits, but one of them that I think about are how much money you can put in a solo 401k. I don't know the exact figures off the top of my head, but I can drop them in the video or in the description. But I believe it's $70,000 a year in aggregate between the employer contributions and the employee contributions and any after-tax contributions that you want to put in there. That's massive when you think about you could send those funds to Roth, or you could use them as a deduction on your taxes. If you're earning a bunch of money and you want to walk that income down a little bit, you can save and defer on the taxes at the same time. One thing that you really have to watch out for when I think about people who are making a lot of money, they do want to save money towards a Roth IRA. And so everybody has talked about backdoor Roth IRAs, backdoor Roth conversions, contributions. I use those terms interchangeably. But one of the things that people, even CPAs I see miss this, are the pro-rata rule. And really, without going into the weeds, the pro-rata rule is a calculation for how much of your backdoor Roth IRA contribution or conversion actually becomes taxable if you have other money inside of a traditional IRA. And so a really cool strategy that I've done for a number of clients now, and one in particular that jumps out, is this gentleman is a W-2 employee. So he technically couldn't open a solo 401k. However, his wife was self-employed. So what we did is we established a solo 401k for him and his wife, and we opened the accounts for both of them. And what we did is we rolled over his traditional IRA money into his now new solo 401k. And because that account is not factored into the pro rata rule, we were able to then contribute to his traditional IRA and backdoor those funds into his Roth IRA without having any of that money being subject to taxes. And so there was a lot of moving parts there, but essentially what we've done is allowed him to now continue to contribute to a backdoor Roth IRA for his remaining working years, all the while still maintaining his traditional balance inside of now his solo 401k that we set up under his wife's business. So many of my W-2 clients are always saying, there's really no tax planning that I can take advantage of. I'm a W-2 employee. There's only but so many deductions I have access to, right? And so one of the things that we do day in and day out is tax loss harvesting. So many folks hate this concept, but it really is just a timing concept. The markets go up and down, and there's so many strategies around tax loss harvesting that can benefit you as a client. For example, let's say that you own Home Depot stock, and for whatever reason, you have a loss in that position. We would like to capture that loss for you. The clients typically will view this as, I'm losing money, and I understand the thought process, but here's what you do. So you're not really losing that exposure, you're just repositioning it. So if we're gonna harvest a loss in Home Depot stock, we are then going to buy, let's say, lows. So then you're still having the same exposure in the market. Meanwhile, you took the benefit of that loss on paper, and you can use that to either offset capital gains that you want to sell. Maybe a position has appreciated significantly and you want to lessen your exposure to that position. Well, we can use that loss of the Home Depot stock to then offset the gain in your other position. Meanwhile, we still have exposure to lows, and then after the wash sale is met, so basically you can't buy or sell that stock again within 30 days or else that loss is excluded, we can sell lows and repurchase Home Depot again. Another strategy that folks can take advantage of, and I see this typically for folks who are in their early years of retirement and their income has dropped significantly, they're actually harvesting gains. So if your taxable income is low enough, you actually can sell a stock position for a gain and owe 0% in taxes. Not everybody can walk their income down low enough to qualify for that, but we are always looking out for anybody's income being below this threshold, and then we are selling those positions and essentially resetting the basis. If I have a $50 stock position that is appreciated to $100 and I can sell that with no taxable event, well then the following year I'm starting it off at $100, and if it continues to appreciate, it lessens whatever tax liability I have in the future. The last couple of strategies I want to discuss today are how we can strategically lower someone's tax liability when RMDs kick in. The first strategy I want to talk about today are qualified charitable distributions, or QCDs. Now, this strategy is really only applicable for someone who is charitably inclined. However, if you're 70 and a half or older, what you can do is defer up to a certain amount each year. I believe it's $108,000 for tax year 2026. That distribution can fulfill your RMD for that tax year. So again, only a good option for someone who is charitably inclined, because otherwise you are still giving the money away, where if you're not charitably inclined, I'm sure you would rather get all of your money, even if it's 60 cents on the dollar, versus giving 100% of it away. Another strategy that's unique to trying to lower your RMDs in retirement is called a QLAC. It's a qualified longevity annuity contract, and it is an annuity, and typically we aren't using these products. A unique opportunity for repositioning pre-tax money that's held within an IRA into an annuity contract, and then those dollars are not factored into your RMD calculation. I believe that amount right now is $200,000 per taxpayer, so you and your spouse could reposition $400,000 into your individual QLACs or annuity contracts. The benefit in doing this is that you can delay the income off of that annuity up until age 85. And so doing that lowers the RMD calculation each year, in addition to the growth that that $200,000 would have inside of that pre-tax account for maybe 12 to 15 years or even longer if you perform that or you purchase that QLAC at a younger age. These are just some of the strategies that we're always considering for every client. They don't always apply to each client. We're always pulling on the tools that we have in our tool belt to make sure that we are not leaving any stone unturned and that we're maximizing the benefit to you and your tax situation for all of our clients.